Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Shkoyach. Lili Nishmasimi Mirosi Rusbas Mordechai. Today's shir sponsored by Chaim in honor of me. Sponsored by Aaron Trauring in memory of my mother Beverly Trauring, Baila Bas Heynoch. The Shoma should have an aliyah. Lili Nishmas Tehillim Chavetz Chaim. Harav Goyni wrote here. Hatzadiq Hakadosh. That's better. Harav Yisrael Meir ben Harav Arya Zeva Koyin Zeichet Tzaddik Kosh Levrocha. Chavetz Chaim, one human being. The schusim. Could you imagine the schusim every day? Tens of thousands of people learning Mishnah Berurah and Shmiras Haloshen and all the Sfarim. It's unbelievable what one human being accomplished. 25 years to write the Mishnah Berurah, something like that. 24, 25. Unreal. L'ilui nishmas harav Yahzekal Abrmesky zeichet tzaddik v'kosh levrocha. I didn't realize they were both on the same day. L'ilui nishmas harav ben Tzien Meir Chai Uziel ben harav Yosef Refuas zeichet tzaddik levrocha. L'ilui nishmas harav Yitzchok Plusberg zeichet tzaddik levrocha. Shkoyach. Today, Rabbi Isai, is the final day of such a Geshmaka Masechta Succah. I want to tell the Olam that there's another sponsor. Yehoshua Greenfeld. Please say Tehillim for Chaim ben Yomin ben Chaya. Thank you. So, you hear Noam? They weren't even supposed to do the Gemara initiative from Masechtas Beitza, and Baruch Hashem, they decided to do it, and over 500 people joined. 500, it's not a small number. I know, compared to Sukkah, 1,800, what's 500? 500 people starting to learn Daf Yomi or learning with us. It's amazing. We're going to get, no. We're going to go. Rosh Hashanah, they want to do over 1,000 people. They started very late. Rabbi said it's not too late. Take out your phones right now. Take out your phones. And just write to one friend to join MDY.com. Join MDY.com. It's unbelievable. One person, ask David Zlatnik. No, you put your phone away, Yaakov. No, you could. Fine, one guy. David Zlatnik. Changed the person's life. He's making a siyum today. And unbelievable. The feeling that you have that you're the catalyst for this. It's unbelievable. And Rabbi Isai, I've thought to myself, since today we're finishing Masechtas Sukkah, what is it about a siyum that trips people up? There are two words that trip people up, and I'm here to help you guys out. Vakitzoisa hisisichecha. Repeat that 1,000 times, please. And you say it aloud. No, vakitzoisa.
Vakitzoisa.
Hisisichecha. Say that, you'll sound like a Talmud Chacham when you make your siyum. Otherwise, it's going to be I've been by many siyumim. It doesn't sound good. Now, if you get that right, there's a bunch of other words also. Fine. But the main one, okay. What? What did you say?
Now you're just showing off.
Right. No, I practiced a lot beforehand. I was once at a speech actually, and the guy, he quoted like a whole Gemara, Mila b'Mila. You saw that the guy practiced, like he pretended that he knows Kol HaTorah Kula, and this just happened to me. Okay. So anyways, I do want to wish a very special and heartfelt mazel tov to the new guys. The guys that just started Sukkah and they finished their first Masechta with us. So extra special mazel tov to them for finishing today. There are many siyumim. One of the big shockers to me was London. London has 47 people already signed up. I thought that was a lot for London. I was hoping Manchester would have more, but it's not. Manchester is the first original chabura. I told you to take out your phone so you could type a friend. Oh, let me see. Give me your phone.
Bottom.
Here. He took a picture of me and sent it to a friend. Very nice. Yishkoyach Yaakov. Your brother. Avram, yeah, Yeshua's been on his case for years. I think the first thing you have to do is tell Yeshua to get off his case. Then maybe he'll join. Tonight here in Ramah Bet Shemesh, we have close to 100 people signed up, Baruch Hashem. There's still room for another 2 people. So, no, we'll fit you in. Rabbi Ari Ben Shushan agreed to speak for us tonight, and Levi Freeman is speaking. All right. So, Yishur Koyach to that. Oh, Meir is at 8 o'clock here. We are not here in Prushim, next door. I mean, here in Ramat Shemesh. There was a nice, this is a little dark. Ari Weinstein from Farako, he sent this to me a few days ago. I guess I could use it here. He says, the Yerushalmi says on this past parsha, it says, Arur asher lo yakim is divrei HaTorah azois. Arur asher lo yakim is divrei HaTorah azois. The Yerushalmi asks, V'chiyesh Torah nefelas. What's the yakim? Is there a Torah that falls that you have to lift it up? And one of the pshatim is, Ravacha b'shem Reb Tanchum Reb Chia lomad v'limid v'shomer v'asa. Person learned Torah, taught Torah, kept the Torah, did everything he has to do. He could support Torah and he wasn't machzik. You get a curse if you don't support Torah. And what greater way is there to support Torah? The easy way is to give a check to yeshiva. But I think it's a lot more important to bring other people into Torah, to encourage people that don't learn or learn but they have a shvach shir, a shvach magid shir. They should come to the real deal right here. Otherwise, they might be in an error. You never know. Okay. Do we have time? No, we don't have really time for another email or 2 because we started late. So we'll just go into it right now. We're starting by a brand new Mishnah. Brand new Mishnah. And for those who say, oh, let's start Masechus Beitza, not today. Why? No, you start today. It's a brand new Mishnah, a brand new Sugya. This has nothing to do with anything else. It's like its own little Masechta. Says the Mishnah, sponsored by Fishel, the Fishel Mishnah for Refuas Lema for Avram Yosef ben Chana. They're 3 times a year, so we discussed there are 24 mishmaros. All the Kehanim, and this is the Reis to split the Kehanim up into groups. They started out at 8, and then they increased it to 6, and then to 24 groups. Each group serves in the Beis HaMikdash for a full week, and they take a rotation. And so it comes out that each group serves twice a year for a week, and they take that group, split it up to days. However, 3 times a year, there were no groups. Everybody's equal, and they get to share in all the meat or whatever there is in the Beis HaMikdash. The parts that go into the Mizbech, as we're going to see in the Gemara what it means exactly. Now, the way lechem apanim works, we're going to talk about it, is there are the breads, the 12 breads, and they bake them and put them in, they switch them out on Shabbos. So one mishmar brings the breads in, another mishmar takes the breads out, and they divide the breads equally, 6 and 6, we'll see soon. However, during the regalim, during Yantiv, everybody gets to share in the lechem apanim. And this is a big chiddush actually, because you get to share in something that you're part of, you do the avodah. So if you could perform the avodah on a carbon, let's say there's a chattas that comes into the Beis HaMikdash, and I happen to be a kahn and I'm there because all of Klal Yisrael is there, so I can perform the avodah, I could get to eat from that carbon. But the lechem apanim wasn't done today. The lechem apanim was baked a week ago. So why do I get to share today? So that's a big chiddush, that I, the Chaim, could get to share just because I happen to be there, even though I had nothing to do with it, and that's again the Gemara. Batzeres on Shavuos, Omer loy, Heynoch matzah, Heynoch chametz. Matzah, the lechem apanim, the breads of the lechem apanim are called matzah, they are matzah. And I am also going to give you from the 2 breads of Shavuos, the shtei alechem. Shtei alechem is called chametz, it is chametz. So, the chiddush over here is, as Rashi explains, that we say like this: L'chol b'nei Aaron tia ish k'achiv. Each part of the carbon, every carbon goes to every single person, every kohen. In other words, I cannot tell my fellow kohen, give me the lechem apanim, you take the shtei alechem, or vice versa. I get a little lechem apanim and a little shtei alechem, and you get it. Don't try to mix things up. Don't push more on one and take a little bit from the other. It's l'chol b'nei Aaron. The b'nei Aaron get all of it. Mishmar shezmanu kavua hu makriv tamidim. By the way, I just looked it up. Over 700 charts in Masechta Succah, so it came out to approximately average of 18 charts per day, which is insane. Don't expect an Masechta Beis. So that was all due to the great sefer of Kol Al-Shon, a tremendous hakaras hatov to them. I mean, we got hundreds of pictures from them.
Is that more per day than Erevin?
What?
Is that more per day than Erevin?
Yeah, sure. Because Erevin, the total Erevin was 700. And this is only a 56, how many dapim were in Erevin? Yeah. It's getting more as time goes on, because I get to use charts from less, whatever. Fine. It says the Mishnah, now, but don't forget that there's a mishmar that belongs in that week. And he gets to be makriv the tamid of the day. Nidarim and adava is any extra karbanis that people are bringing from their own neder and own adava. Ushar karbanis tzibur and other karbanis tzibur, as the Gemara is going to explain, it means the parhelam davar. If chas v'shalom, the Bezdin, the Sanhedrin, paskins that Klal Yisrael should do an avera that you get karas on, so Klal Yisrael brings a bull. How often was that? I hope it never happened. And that particular mishmar gets to be makriv everything, as the Gemara is going to explain. It's referring to the kites hamizbeach. When we get to the Gemara, I'll explain what it is. The parts of the yontif, ask the Gemara, how could the kohanim divide that? That belongs to the mizbeach, that gets burnt, that goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not to HaKhayim. Amar Rav Chizda, the word emure over here doesn't mean like we learned in Chulin day after day, the emurim. It's a play on words. It means Masha Amar B'Regalim. This which was said in the regal, not the emurim, not the parts that go on the mizbeach, but rather the karbanos that we're discussing. For instance, so when we were learning Psachim, I mentioned it then, but for the new people, I was talking to a Talmud Chacham in Farakwe, and he said something, Daf Yomi, for Balbatim, and I noticed that he doesn't really learn much. He used to learn a lot, not anymore. So it was not so nice, but in front of his wife, I said, so tell me, how many korbanos does one bring on Pesach? Every male that comes to Yerushalayim, how many korbanos? Korban Pesach. Yeah, what else? So here it is. There's a list of 5 korbanos each Zachar has to bring. If you learn Daf Yomi, you know it. If you learn in Yeshiva the first 5 Daf of Masechta, you'll never get to it. So one of them is Eli Shalmi Simcha, Shalmi Chagiga. So these are korbanos that we're talking about now. These are the.
So he decided to join the shir because of that, right?
No, he became anti-it, much more anti. Yeah, right in front of his wife. Yeah. Since then, I got many nasty comments from him.
Did his wife join the shir?
Says the Gemara that what the korbanos that people bring when they come to the Beis Hamikdash, Oila Asriya, you have to bring Oila. You have to take a sheep with you. Be'ez Hashem, when Mashiach comes, we're going to have to bring korbanos, animals with us. Or they'll sell it outside over there. Oil Riyah and Shalmi Chagiga. And that's what the Kohanim are going, but it's not the Imurim, it's not the innards. What?
It's Chagiga and also Shlamim of Simcha. So it's two.
We're not talking about Pesach now. We're talking about Sukkos. Minayin shekol hamishmar shavis beimur erigolim. So, or tell me about it. Minayin shekol hamishmar shavis beimur erigolim. How do you know that everybody gets to divide it? Why is it not specifically to that mishmar, which is the deraisa, by the way? The mishmar that we split up the mishmar is the deraisa, so maybe they should get to eat everything. Tamaloi maru ba b'chol avas nafshoi v'sheres. A Chaim decides to come to the Beis Hamikdash and to perform the avodah. If he performs the avodah, he gets to join in. Over here in this pasuk, you see that idea that if a kohen performs, if the kohen is part of the avodah, so he gets to join in and eat it. So if he decides to come there and join in, so he gets to eat from it. Maybe he could just show up any day he wants. from one of the cities, from one of the gates, that's only on Yantiv when Klal Yisrael comes in from one gate, then all the Kohanim get to perform the Avodah. If they perform the Avodah, they get to eat from it. And that's the big chiddush. How do you know that if you perform the Avodah Lechem Aponim, you get to eat from it? You don't perform the Avodah, sorry. You don't perform the Avodah. You just happen to be there. The Avodah, when was the Avodah of the Lechem Aponim? A week before. The previous week they made it. Now you're just sitting there, you're watching it. And as we mentioned, I don't remember which Masechta, one of the Nisim, they used to show Klal Yisrael, they come up to the Regel, they would pull out the bread and show how it's steaming hot still. A week later to show the Nisim. So it was steaming, the nace was that they made it a week ago and still hot now. Top of Amud Aleph. If you are part of the avodah, you're part of the achila. Now it can't be achila of korbanos. If we're talking about the shalmi chagiga, the sir chata, says Rashi also. There's a sir chata you can eat from. Like we said before, there's a pasuk like so it can't be that achila. Ela lechem aponim. So I'm gonna say that it comes to include lechem aponim. And hold on a second. Maybe it comes to say other korbanos as well that have nothing to do with the yantiv. Levad mimkurav ala aves. Mimkurav is lashon of mecher, of making a deal with somebody. What did our forefathers make a deal and there was an understanding between them? I get 1 week, you get another week, and that's it. So memela, since there's no avodah here in the lechem itself, there's zero avodah, so it makes sense that I get to this pasuk of achila. I get to share with somebody, with the other mishmar, but not other korbanos. Itmar Rav Omar Succah va'achar kach zman. So we're going into a whole other sugi now. This is how we do it today. This is the halacha, but it comes from this sugi right here. This is machlokes. You have two brachas that we say in Kiddush. Asher kishonim says v'tzivanu leisha basukah, and you also have shechiyanu v'kimanu v'kimanu. Which bracha goes first? Now we learned already in the Masechta that when you build your sukkah, you should make a shechiyanu. But we don't do this in our days because not everybody builds a sukkah, whatever, you're sharing sukkah. We don't do it like that. And let's say you didn't build a sukkah, you already had a sukkah, you're a guest, you're making kiddush. So you say shechiyanu on the first night. Which one comes first? Machlokes. Rav Amar Succah v'achar kach zman. Rav says, first you say leishev and then shechiyanu. And that in fact is the halachas we're going to see. Rav Chana Amar Zman v'achar Succah. It's the reverse. First you say shechiyanu, then you say sukkah. Rav Amar Succah v'achar Zman chiyuva d'yayma adif. First, you have to talk about the day. Leisha b'sukkah. Today's sukkahs. Rav Chana Amar Zman v'achar Succah. The reason why I say shechiyanu first, tadir v'sheinu tadir kaidem. Since shechiyanu is in every yantiv, it's about the regel. We're saying shechiyanu on the regel on Yantiv, so we say it a bunch of times every year. So it comes first. It's more common. Whatever is more common comes first. Says Gemara, perhaps this goes back to earlier machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. The Torah Rabbana. We learned in Masechtas Brachos. Dvarim shebein Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel basuda. These are machlokes in halachas of the suda. Beis Shammai oimrim. So here you have Kiddush. If you don't recall what Kiddush sounds like, maybe you think to yourself now, which bracha comes first? Hagefen or Mekadesh HaShabbos? So here it is. We do it like this. First comes Bayer Pri Hagefen, wine, then Shabbos. Beis Shammai say, first comes the blue bracha, Mekadesh HaShabbos, and then Mevarach Al Hayayin. Or Beis Hillel, and of course we're passing like Beis Hillel, almost every time. We make a bracha first on the wine and then on Shabbos. And we're trying to say this is the same machlokes as we have over here. They say Leisha B'Sukkah before Shechiyanu. Without Shabbos being here, there's no wine. And not only that, what comes first? First, Shabbos pops in, and then only that, you go to the refrigerator and you pull out your wine. But Shabbos is here before. Why do we do wine first? Without wine, you can't make Kiddush. Says Rashi, but you can do it on bread. Okay. Not a kasha. It's the wine, it's the bread, but they are the cause of the Kiddush. So Mela, the wine comes before Kiddush. Wine comes before Kiddush because you can only say Kiddush if you have wine or bread. So the wine or the bread should come before Kiddush. Dover acher, because hayayin tediro, or because hayayin in tediro. Tader v'shein tader, tader koydem. So over here we have a concept of tader v'shein tader. Wine comes before Shabbos. Leima Rav, the Omar Kibishamai Rav that says Sukkah is before Shechianu, and Shechianu's tader. It goes like Bishamai. Bishamai don't care about tader, it seems like. And they still care about tader v'shein tader. So it seems like Rav, and this is a big problem, obviously. Rav, who we paskin like Rav all the time, the Gal Adar, he's going to say like Bishamai, who we don't paskin like. V'Rav Chano, who says that tader v'shein tader koydem, that what? You say Shechianu first. If you have Sukkah and Shechianu, we say Shechianu first according to Rav Chano. Why? Shechianu is more common for all the Yom Tovim. Seems to match Beis Hillel. Don't give Beis Hillel. Amalach Rav, no connection between the machlokes in either direction. Not for Rav and not for Rav Chana. Amalach Rav, I know that I'm Rev Eli Beis Hillel. I could say like Beis Hillel. I can like Beis Hillel also. The reason by Shabbos we say wine first is because without wine there's no kiddush at all. If a guy is on his way, or forget a guy is on his way. A guy that's every single day, the third day of Sukkot. Do you say Shechianu? No. But you say Leishav Sukkah. You say Leishav Sukkah all the time. So one is not connected with the other. Rav Chana says, I could even say like Bishamai. Why would he want to say like Bishamai? I don't know. But maybe he says it's not connected. I could even say like Bishamai. I don't want to say like Bishamai because it's not a la'alacha. But I could. There's no riot that I go like Bishamai, Bishamai go like me. It's the day Shabbos that causes the wine. Without a sukkah, so this is the case. If a person does not have a sukkah, says Rashi, he's a traveler, he's a hoylech derech, he doesn't have a sukkah, but he still has to say Shechianu. He's in the middle of Yantif. Beautiful. Thank you, Hashem, for giving us a Yantif. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but I know that my Yantif this year is going to be different. Be'ez Hashem. At least when I go to buy a shroigim, my dal minim, I'm going to be more careful, spend more time. Also with the way I tie it, I think I'm going to try to do something different. And also the sukkah. I want to spend more time building it. Get something out of the Masechta, something relevant to us. Each to their own.
On the same level?
What?
On the same level this year? You're trying to find it?
On the same level? Always. What do you mean, the three on the same level? Always, every year. It has to be on that's everybody does. I hope everybody does. You mean the leaves have to be on the same string? 100%. Always. If you get a chazanish, you get a mahudah, that's how it is. That's 30 centimeters packed by an Arab, correct. I saw that picture. 7 through 7, if the guy gives it to me. If you get 7, so you always have 3 in around. You don't have to worry about it being on different levels. Yeah, exactly, those kind of things. Avalacha, or I was going to try to get a ravis from a river, and then somebody yelled at me, well, that's not the minig of Klal Yisrael, Okay, fine. I'm still going to try to get it. I don't know if they sell. They sell here in Eretz Yisrael, Hadassim from the river. You can buy it. Okay. I'll go cut it myself when this is a day with no shear. Okay, not. So Gemara wants to bring a right from our Mishnah. Ba'atzeres oimer loy Heynoch matzah, Heynoch chametz. So pay attention to the wording of the Mishnah. On Shavuos, Atzeres, they tell the Kohen, here's matzah. What's matzah? Lechem apanim. And here's a little bit of the shtei lechem that belongs to Shavuos. Which one is more common? Obviously, lechem apanim, which is once a week. Over here we have a different thing. Fakert. The chametz is the ikr. Why? Today is Shavuos. Today's Shavuos. So the two breads belong to Shavuos. That's the ikr. The lechem apanim was made a week ago. So it's a tafel. It's a side thing. But the main deal today on Shavuos are the two breads. And what do we say to the guy? Here's some lechem apanim, and here's some shtei lechem. Because lechem apanim is tadir. We don't care about what's ikr and what's tafel, we care about what's tadir, not tafel. To yufta the Rav, there should be a kasha on Rav who doesn't care about tadir. Omalach Rav, Tanoi. No, you're right, it's a great kasha, but at the end of the day, there's machlokes tanoim about this idea. What comes first? How do we even say it in the Beis Hamikdash? Our Mishnah, you're right, says it this way. Heyloch matzah, heyloch chametz. Heyloch chametz, heyloch matzah. I go like Abba Shaul. First, they offer him the two breads, like Shavuos, and only afterwards they offer him the lechem apanim. And Taisus points out, what about our Mishnah? It's a Stam Mishnah. Okay. We're not choishes, he says. Stam Mishnah. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara. It's not like Rav who says that first comes Leishav Sukkah and only afterwards comes Shechianu, but rather it's not like this. First comes Shechianu, then comes Sukkah. Had a paskin. He says we paskin first Leishav Sukkah, then Zman, and this is what we do. Sukkah v'akach Zman. I'm just saying, everything that we're going to be doing, Be'ez Hashem, just a few weeks, on Sukkah is going to take a different understanding. We're going to say, Leishav Sukkah this year, we're going to realize that it's a machlokes in the last daf of the Mezechta, what comes first, what comes second. That's why we say it like this. Every single part, Be'ez Hashem. Mishmar shizmani kavua ushar karbonis tzibur. So, there was a mishmar. Let's see if we can find the chart of the mishmar is. It was from yesterday's chart. Not really that important. Okay, I don't know. Somewhere. But we have a whole list of 24 mishmaris, right? And in those mishmar here, these are the mishmaris, 24. According to some Rishonim, it always starts with the Yarav and goes in this particular order. It never changes. Even on Yantiv, there's no girl. Some Rishonim say no. On Yantiv, they'll throw a raffle, and if it comes out at number 12, they'll start it from there and they'll go down from 12 and come back around. Fine. So Mishmash is Manikavua. So now we're talking about it's the middle of Sukkot, but it happens to be that Sukkot coincides with week 15. And, that's not a good name. Week 11, Eliashiv, like that name. Fine. So what do they get to do? They get to do all the other korbanos. La'asui mai. What does it mean, all the other korbanos? La'asui par helem davar shel tzibur. If there's a aver of kares, dafka kares, and Sanhedrin, for whatever reason, told Klal Yisrael, go ahead, do this aver. It's not an aver, it's mutter. And then they realized they made a mistake. Instead of every single person in Klal Yisrael bring a korban, there'll be millions of korbanos. They bring one par, one bull, helem davar. And that's the only people that can deal with it and burn the ashes and whatever we have to do to par helem davar is Eliashiv. Even though all these mishmaris are in the Beis Hamikdash that day, no, it's only Eliashiv because they are the mishmar of that week. Well, what?
Does that not come on Chag?
No, it has to be anything that has to do with the Chag. What your Chag? No. On a Chalamayid, you're saying? Not on Chag. No, so no. Only things that have to do with the regel. No, that already says in the Mishnah. And then the end in the Mishnah says, V'shar korbanos. Here it says, Makriv Tamidim and Darman and Davos. Sharkabar and Tzibur. Tzibur. What's Tzibur? Chad is not Tzibur. So what's the Chiddush in Tzibur? V'hu Makriv is a call. And then the Mishnah continues, and this Mishmar 15 continues to be Makriv other Karbanis. I'm sorry, I missed the word here. It's the same idea that if Sanhedrin said, go ahead, do Avodah Zarah, it's a big mitzvah to do Avodah Zarah, they made a mistake. So in addition to the bull, they bring a sire. Okay. What else? We learned many times is that when there shouldn't be, Kates means the dessert of the Mizbeach. There shouldn't be any downtime on the Mizbeach. So if there are no other Karbanis being Nikrav on the Mizbeach, you go ahead and you open up the Pushka, all this, the money that comes from selling off animals that have a mum, they put in the Pushka, they use that money for the Kates Mizbeach. And who gets to do it? Only Mishmar number 11, 15, whatever, whoever's on the Mishmar that week. Says the Heilige Mishnah, the official Mishnah sponsored by, I don't need this anymore, you just ask Akiva. By official, Refuas and Yeshuos for Braino Bas Yenta Devira. Says the Mishnah, Yondav Asamel L'Shabbos, Bein Milafonel, Bein Le'acharel. So we're going to see in the Gemara what this means. Before and after, if Yontav is very close to Shabbos, this Mishnah is a Chiddush. We're not talking about the halacha de Oraisa over here, that the Mishmar gets, that all the Mishmars get to share in the Lechem Apanim. Over here, it's a special halacha midrabanan. We want to be nice to the guest. And if the guest couldn't leave, they couldn't go back home because it's too close to Shabbos. Let's say the guest had to come from out of town. And in order to be there for a Sunday, for Sunday Yontif, they had to come on a Friday. So they were there over Shabbos as guests, but they're not part of the Avodah. They're just guests now on Shabbos. Yontif only starts on Sunday. They get to share in the Lechem Apanim nevertheless. That's the Rabbana. To be nice to them. So, in this case, everybody got equal, all the mishmars. But let's say Yontif falls out. I'm talking about Maskonas Gemara. Yontif falls out on a Monday, and your flight wasn't until Monday, whatever. Your flight, you don't want to come in so close to Shabbos. So you, instead of coming in on Sunday, you came in before Shabbos. But you had time to come for Yontif. You could have taken a Sunday flight. No, I don't want to be. You know how people, like when they have a chasana, they're not going to fly, if their kid is getting married and they have to go to Eretz Yisrael, they're not going to fly one day before their wedding, so they come before Shabbos. Well, now you're a real guest. You're an extended guest. If that's the case, if there's a real weekday in between, it's not Yontif right after Shabbos. Okay, then we divide the 12 breads 10 and 2. The extended guests only get to share in 2 breads, not in 6. But all other days of the year, all other Shabbosim, the Mishmar, because they used to switch the Mishmar on Shabbos. So the Mishmar, hanichnas noitel sheish. Those who came in would take 6 breads. I just stuck in the word on Mishmar. And the Mishmar that goes out takes 6 bread. In other words, they divide it equally. It's not equal. It's 7 and 5. And the Gemara is going to explain why. So here Rabbi Isai, Gershon, over here, okay, if that doesn't work, I could do this. Okay. This side over here is Tzafan. This is where they're makriv, the Kachya Kadoshim. This is the important, the Chashav side. So those coming in eat their breads over here. By the way, the Lechem Apanim is up here, and they bring it out, and they eat it over here. The guys leaving eat it on this side. And that's a sign. These are the Chashuvim, they just came in, and these are the Shvacha guys. They're leaving. Bilga, one of the 24 Mishmaris is called Bilga, and we'll see it Be'ez Hashem by the Siyum. That's the final It's a very sad story. She went off the derech, basically. She married a guy, and they punished the entire mishmar. Why? That's the Gemara. And because they punished her, what was the punishment? No matter what, even when she comes in, her mishmar comes in, they're all still there. Just her, she was bad. Lucas. So instead of eating the bread on this side, they always eat the bread on that side. And the ones leaving go get the one right before Yeshev stays over here. Now, there were 24 rings. Right over here you can see the rings. And these rings would hold the animal down as so. The way the ring worked, it was in the ground. It was a circle that went into the floor. It could never come out. And they just kept on going in a circle. And they would open it up by pulling it, put the head of the animal there, and then put it right back into this hole and complete the circle. Her tabat, what?
I'm getting hungry.
This makes you hungry? Yeah, hold your appetite for tonight. It's good food. The tabat k'vua, they locked up her ring, so she would have to go, her mishmar would have to go borrow rings from other kohanim, and that was a big bezayim, v'chaloyin astuma, and there were windows where they kept their knives for shechita. Her window was closed. Says the Gemara, if it means that the first day of Yontif was on a Friday. I hope this is in order, otherwise it's a big balagan. If the first day of Yontif is on a Friday, so the second day is Shabbos. What is that called? Shabbos, the middle of Yontif. And the seventh day fell out on a Sunday. I don't know if I have I do have. Maybe not, but you understand what I'm saying. The seventh day of Yontif fell out on a Sunday. So in other words, the Shabbos, the last day of Yontif. So that means Shabbos is smack in the middle of Yontif. And everybody, we had in the Mishnah, everybody splits, divides everything equally. Elo lefoneo Yontif achron. It means that the seventh day fell out on a Friday. The seventh day, where is it? Fell out on a Friday. Seventh day. Okay, it's somewhere. Seventh day fell out on a Friday. I don't know. Okay. The seventh day fell out on a Friday. In other words, Shabbos is not part of Yontif anymore. Shabbos is not in Yontif. Shabbos is the day after Yontif. If Shabbos is the day after Yontif, so what are you doing here? Go home. Well, I can't get home. I can't take a taxi. It's Shabbos today. But you don't belong here. So if you don't belong here, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to split with you. I'm going to give you some. Lachreha, and what is Lachreha? Yontif Rishon. That the first day of Yontif fell out on a Sunday. I better have that one. Here we go. The first day of Yontif fell out on a Sunday. Shabbos, Sunday. Now again, Shabbos is not part of Yontif. It's not Shabbos like we said before that fell out in the middle of Yontif. Shabbos is right before Yontif. So what are you doing here? Oh, you know what I'm doing here? Because I can't travel on Shabbos. So I came on Friday. I'm here from Friday. I'm here on Shabbos, but Shabbos is not part of Yontif. So then I'll split with you. Minder Rabban, and I'm going to give you some lechem upon it. These guys came earlier to be there for Yontif. These guys have to stay a little bit later because Yontif is here. So Chachamim made it takana that everybody should eat some of the lechem upon it. We just turned to Nun Vav Amud Beis sponsored by MDY Tehillim group. For all those who need Yeshuas Refuas and Yeshuos, please join Tehillim.com and by Shlomo Lalezarian from Los Angeles in honor of my wife for being Moisei Nefesh for me to prepare shir. Now, why does the Mishnah say that according to Rabbi Yehuda we split it up differently? 7 and 5. The incoming guys get 7 breads, the outgoing guys get 5. Why? Because the outgoing guys, they opened the doors, they forgot to close the door. the incoming guys are going to have to close the doors at night. So they need to get paid for closing the doors. They get 2 extra breads. As the Gemara, dal bedal. Instead of us splitting it like this, let's split it equally. Because next week when you leave, you're going to get 5 instead of 7. So this week you get 6. Next week you'll get 6. We'll always do 6. Why do we have to do 7 and 5? Says the Gemara, tremendous yisoid in life. Omar Abaye butzino tava mikara. You have a small gourd. You can have it today. Or you can leave it in the ground and let it grow for another 2 weeks. What do? You take it today. Whatever you have today, 1 bird in the hand is better than 2 birds in the bush. This is what we have now. This is what you eat. So, lahalacha. We use this lahalacha. Certain halachas, let's say there's a ksuba and the guy doesn't have enough money. You take whatever he has now and you worry about the rest later. Take now. And Rabbi Sai, it has to do with Torah also. Here's a perfect example. We're on the last Amud of the Masechta. Take what you have now. Don't wait until Masechta's Beitza to learn. You learn today. You have a daf. You don't know if you're going to be alive tomorrow. Take what you have today. A lot of people push, I'm going to do next Masechta and next this. When I get older, I'm going to learn. When I get a new job, I'm going to learn. You start today. Butzino tava mikara. Omer Rav Yehuda, ubu musafim chalkim. Says Rav Yehuda, halacha, the Gemara says he's wrong. He says, not only do whoever's there gets to participate in the lechem apanim, also in the musaf of Yontav, Meisvei. Mishmar hayosis oisa tamid shel shachar u'musafim. The mishmar who leaves does the tamid of the shachar and musaf. Mishmar sanechneses oisa tamid shel bein harbaim uvazichin. Wow, Baruch Hashem, here's the thing. Lechem apanim, and these are the 2 spoonfuls of frankincense, and that goes on the mizbeach. The bazichin, who does this? The mishmar who comes in. Doesn't mention anything about the new guys getting part of the skins of the musaf. Says the Gemara, that's not a great raya because we're not talking about division over here. We're just saying what they have to do in terms of their avodah. Omar Rava, but I have a better raya that's going to slug Rav Yehuda up. The Torah of Shmuel does talk about division and it doesn't mention musaf, and that will be a raya against him. The leaving guys, they do the morning tamid and musaf. Doesn't mention anything about dividing the musaf. The guys coming in, they do the evening tamid and the frankincense. There was 4 kohanim. 2 from the one leaving and 2 from the one coming in. And they divide up here. They're talking about division. It doesn't talk about dividing the musaf. The Rabbi Yehuda. Let's just do the 2 more lines. How come those coming in, they eat their bread right over here? Until Gary gets his thing, I'll do. They eat their bread right over here. Why is it? So everybody should know they're the chashav ones. They're coming in. And this side, people should see that they are leaving. Have a wonderful day and mazel tov to everybody.